Yeah.
This is a story that you know all so well,
Bir hikaye.
but I want to tell it from my perspective.
Ama ben kendi
I'll
bakış
start when I was standing in front of an auditorium here in
Konferans
Washington,
alanında
D.C.,
Washington.
Kaplan.
Kaplan.
What I saw in
Büyük
that
bir
auditorium
iz
was this
durduğum-
large delegation, Turkish
büyük
dignitaries,
Türkiye'den gelen ve-
media, educator, businessman that I would only see for maybe 10 minutes. But I respected your time. So the
Bana
questions
ayırdığınız
that you
zamana-
asked, I gave my best to respond. After a series of questions, you stood up and you said,
Ve
I
dediniz
believe
ki-
you are going to work for me in Turkey one day. In my mind,
Doğrusu
I thought this
aklımın
man is
içinden şunu
crazy.
geçirdim. Herhalde bu adam deli olmalı.
I thought, and the reason why I thought that
Böyle düşünmemin sebebi
is because
şuydu, çünkü
you made such a precise decision,
o net
such
bir
a bold
karardı
projection
ve çok cesur bir
with so much
tahmindi.
confidence. It was unreal for me. I'd never
Benim
seen
için
anything like that
çok
before.
gerçek
So
bir-
I think we think
Bence biz
of things that are different than what we've experienced. We think those are bad
Biz
or
bazı şeyleri
different or
deneyimlediğimiz
crazy.
bazı-
But as fate would have it, 3 years later,
Üç-
I was not just working for you.
sadece sizin için çalışmakla kalmadım.
I became a part of a
Ama-
family that has literally changed
Ve
my life
ger-
and has taught me things that no other
Ve
institution,
başka herhangi bir
person
kurumun
has ever taught me.
ya-
And what I want to dig deep with today
Derinine
is
inmek-
that mindset that you had
İşte
then
siz-
and you clearly have now. It's a mindset that many of us aspire to have.
Pek
Thinking big,
düşünmek,
thinking bold,
etmek,
acting big,
büyük
acting
hareket
bold,
etmek,
executing
etmek,
big, executing bold.
Büyük
So with all of my guests, I
Dilerim.
always ask them to introduce themselves with their name
misafirlerime önce isimlerini
Where are they from?
söylemelerini, nereden geldiklerini söylemelerini.
and what are they most passionate about.
Ve
Okey. Tabii öncelikle
first of all, you, Paul Brunson, that day, even back then, that day, I was able to see where Paul Brunson would be in the future, would stand in the future. The only thing that I see when I meet a person is how that person could become and how, the brain that that person has, what he has as a capacity. Of course, as always, as everyone else, I love people. I
olan bir
can
insanım.
easily recognize, and I'm passionate about people, about having people who are intelligent, who are smart, but more than that, who are passionate in their hearts.
Ben bugün eğer bir yerlere
If
geldimse,
I have
başarılı
become to this
olduysam,
point in my life, if I have become successful,
çalışan arkadaşlarımı
that's
çok iyi seçtim.
because that I have been able to select the people that I work with very well.
Belki çok zeki olmayanlar
Maybe
vardı.
amongst them there were some who were not so intelligent
Yani
or
olmayanlar
some who
vardı.
have not been that hardworking.
Ama benim baktığım
However,
esas özellik
the real quality that I'm after
tutku sahibi
is
olmak,
being passionate, having a passion,
azimli olmak,
and being determined
kararlı olmak
to
ve
do
iyi insan
something.
olmak.
And to be a good person. So that's why when I go back, what really happened that day? There on the stage,
Bir eğitim
I didn't see just a manager of an educational institution. I just saw someone who loved his
tutku
job,
sahibi,
who was passionate, with a clean heart. So that person was after something. That's what
onu-
I recognized. So when telling this to my friends or to my colleagues,
içindeki o ruhu, o heyecanı gördüm.
I always say that I saw that passion, that spirit in you. That's what I recognized that
Ki
day.
de
Even
bile-
though we didn't speak the same language,
Her
the
şeyi
body language
anlatıyordu.
and the eyes, they describe everything. They tell everything.
Yes.
Ben
Yes.
de DC'de
And in those times, I wanted to start a business here in Washington, D.C. And I told to myself, if I hire this person and start my business with this person, then
Şimdi-
both of us would win.
bir,
One,
Paul Brunson
Paul Brunson
mutlu,
would be happy,
iyi bir ortam olacaktı.
would have an appropriate environment, work environment that would take him to his desires,
Yapacaktı.
and he would be able to do just the things that would make him happy, his soul happy. Maybe I wouldn't be able to offer him a lot of support for the business that we would establish here in DC. What I could do was to offer opportunities for Paul Brunson so that he could realize his dreams. And we worked very well together.
Arkadaş olduk.
We became friends.
Benim
And I can see, in a very short time, what he has become and all the dreams that he has achieved in
ama
his
Paul
life.
Brunson şimdi benden daha meşhur oldu.
But now, the bad thing is Paul Brunson is more famous than me.
No, asla,
Ama
asla.
Never, never. But
yanında,
Paul Brunson
insanlarında
has not
halen onu
changed
görüyorum.
a bit in terms of his soul and spirit.
Şimdi evlendi, ondan sonra çocukları oldu.
He was recently married then, but now he has kids.
O
But
heyecan
he
hep
still
aynısı
has the
duruyor.
same spirit, the same joy and passion.
15-20
I was
kişilik bir
not
gruptuk.
alone that day. We were a group of 10 or 15
Yes.
people.
Yeah, large group.
Evet, büyük bir gruptu.
Dünyanın en büyük eğitim yazarı
one of
oradaydı.
the most important educational columnists, Nuran
Yes.
Çakmakçı, was with us.
Yiğit
And so we
Bey
had
vardı.
other journalists from other national papers in
Zaten
Turkey.
çıkıp
After our visit to you that day,
sizi
we
çağırdım.
went to a Turkish
Yemeğe.
restaurant and
We
we
did.
invited you for dinner.
Yes.
Initially, you responded that you wouldn't be able to make it
Exactly.
to join us for dinner.
Ama sıra
But then we
geldiniz.
persisted, we insisted, and then you showed up.
Yes.
Ama-
Sinem.
Evet ama
I think Sinem was major in that.
Sinem'in önemli.
Geldiğiniz zaman
When you came, your
Hem
eyes were
şaşkın,
sparkling, a bit
heyecan verici
surprised, but a
biriydi.
bit excited.
Yes.
All my
Seni çok
friends
sevdi.
there who were with us, they also enjoyed being with you very
ailemizin bir
much.
parçası oldun.
And you have become a part of our family.
Geldik,
You
konuştuk.
came to Turkey a lot. I got to know your parents, your
Yes.
mom,
Ve
your
o gün
dad.
bugün ilişkimiz halen devam ediyor.
And since then, our relationship has never stopped.
Sana başarılar.
And then good luck to you.
And that's the end of the podcast.
Podcast'ın sonuna geldik.
There's so many things I could say about that, but what's fascinating? When we were at the restaurant that night, was that a job interview?
O bir iş mülakatı mıydı?
Because I look
Çünkü
back and
Geriye
I
dönüp baktığımda
think about the questions I was
ve
being
gelen
asked and the
sorulara, bana
observations that were
sorulan
being made.
sorulara
Was that an
hatırlıyorum.
informal
İnsanların benimle
job interview?
Ben yok değildi.
No, that wasn't a formal job interview in our
Ben
mind.
veriyorum.
I give decisions, I take decisions very quickly. That
Yemekte
day,
onun
I had never thought, let's see, how you would behave in the dinner, what you would do at the dinner. I've never
Tabii ki
given a thought to that.
sen çok
But you were right. A group
İş
of Turkish
öneriyor.
people and a Turkish businessman from Turkey whom
Kimdir,
you've
ne
never
değil?
met or heard of. Someone offers you a job and you were
Ama
right being suspicious about it,
hep
having
şuna
some doubts in
çalıştım.
your mind about it.
hep
But
şuna çalıştım.
I have always tried to, what I tried to do was to open myself
Kendime
with everything I have
kendime benim
that
de
I can show
güvenim
to you.
çoktur.
I have a high confidence in myself. You should have known me very well so that you would be open
O
to
kalbindeki ve
accepting
beynindeki
that. So
olmalıydı
that
çünkü
way,
sen
only if you could had known me very well, then you would be able to open your heart and your aspirations, what you
Right.
had in your heart and mind with me.
Ya,
So that
görüşmesidir.
wasn't a classical
Yemek,
job
yine
interview
konu-
or
onları
dinner.
ben yapmam.
Sure,
I've never
sure.
done that way. I've never approached that
Sure.
way.
But what I see as similarity is that without a
Benzerlik
doubt,
görüyorum.
you make faster,
Eminim
bigger
siz
decisions
çok
than anyone
daha
I've ever met in my life. But I think that's the commonality because I make quick decisions too.
kararlar-
But what allows you to make
Ama
those decisions? Because I think so many
bu
of us
netlikte böyle
so many people listening
hızlı karar alabilmek
freeze when they have to decide
neye
between
borçlusunuz?
two things,
Nasıl
three
yapıyorsunuz
things.
bunu? Çünkü hani ben
What's your
dahi
decision-making process?
böyle bir net düşünemeyiz ve bir karar alamayız. Siz neye borçlusunuz bunu?
belki çok karar aldım.
Maybe that's because I have taken many decisions in my life before. And I like taking risks. And I guess I know people now.
Ve verdiğim kararlardan pişman olmuyorum.
I don't regret the decisions that I take. And
Şey
generally,
var.
I also have, a spirit full of excitement. I
de
like
karar alırken
doing
şuna da
exciting
dikkat
things.
ederim.
And one more thing that I pay attention to when I
En
take any
yanlışı ne
decision
olabilir
is
bunun? Bunu düşünürüm.
thinking at the background of my mind, what could be the worst out of this?
O benim
And
bilirim.
to what extent that could harm me.
Beni yok etmeyecekse
If that will not destroy me, then I can take those maximum risks.
Interesting. If it will
Çok
not
ilginç.
destroy me.
I'm never afraid of falling down.
Tamam.
I'm never afraid of losing.
bilirim ki her zaman
Because
eğer
I know that if my health is in good shape, I can always stand
Get
up
back up.
again.
Zaten
And this is what
düşme
is
korkusu değil,
important.
düştüğün yerden
You
kalkmak.
shouldn't have the, worry of falling down, but you should worry about if you trust yourself that you will
You can
stand
stand
up
back up.
again.
benim de yanlış kararlarım oldu.
I've taken some wrong decisions too
Ama o
in
beni
my
çok
life,
sarsmadı.
but they did not hurt me a lot
Ama
or harm me a lot.
sarsabilecek,
But of
davrandım.
course, if I suspect that that decision could harm me a bit more, then I tend to be a bit more cautious.
Cautious. Okay. So for the listener now who
Dinleyenler
wants
için o zaman.
to be in that position where they can
O
take
kişileri
decisions. Let's say they
düşman
fear falling down.
kabilecek
What
zaman
can they
onlar
do
ne
to prevent that
yapabilirler?
fear?
Düşmekten korkmasınlar.
What I can tell them is that they shouldn't be afraid of falling down. They should question why they fell down. I mean, as long as they are not losing their integrity,
They check-
as long as they are not losing the other people's trust in them, and those risks and those decisions will not destroy them, then they shouldn't be afraid of that. So losing is like the, sister brother of winning.
Interesting.
It is important to win and it is important to lose. I talk to the people, not only the ones who have always won in their lives, but also the ones who have lost in their lives.
Yeah.
Yoksa
It is more
insanlığını yok
important
etmesinler.
for the listeners, for them that they are not losing their basic human values, their humanities, their dignities.
Yes, yes.
Her
You know what I'll
tip
never
insanla
forget is
konuşuyor ve şey var,
one
hiç
evening
unutmayacağım bir şey
you
var.
sent me a text. This was a few years ago.
Birkaç sene önce
And it
gönderdiniz
was you
telefondan.
on your new boat, which I'm jealous. I've not been invited onto the new boat yet.
Yeni teknenizden göndermiştiniz o mesajı bana.
But you were eating with the
Ama
staff.
çalışanlarınızla
Of the boat.
birlikte teknede yemek yiyordunuz.
And you were suggesting that you listen to everyone,
Ve
no matter
herkesin
how high or low their
hani
status
ne
is.
kadar
When I wrote the article about you and Oprah, I noticed that she does
sizinle
exactly
ve
the same.
Oprah'la ilgili
So then how can those who are listening put themselves in a position where they can listen to everyone? And just to give an example,
Bir örnek
one
ver.
thing that you and Oprah do
Siz ve
exactly
Oprah'ın
the same is I notice you don't like to eat alone.
hoşlanmadığınızı
Every time you come,
biliyorum. Ne
massive
zaman
dinners,
gelseniz
20, 30
sürekli büyük
people
20-30
at
kişilik
dinners,
büyük
right?
yemekler oluyor.
She does the same.
Aynı
Massive
şeyi
dinners,
o da
20, 30
yapıyor.
people
Çok
at
büyük
dinner.
30-40
And you're
kişilik
listening,
yemekler oluyor.
right? Being
Herkese.
informed. That lends itself. But
Bence
how can those who are listening, who can't afford
Şu an
to put on a
bizi
dinner for
dinleyenler
30
için
people,
diyelim ki
how do they
veremeyecek
get
kişileri
that
düşünelim. Ya
information?
onlar bu bilgi
Onlar da o kalabalıklar için.
they should try to find ways where they could be a part of such massive groups.
Okay.
Eğer
For example, if one of the listeners would like to have a dinner with me at my table,
bir özelliği olacak.
he should have a quality, he or she should have a quality.
Ama bu ne olursa olsun.
Doesn't matter what that quality is. I never hire people so that they would have a job.
Ben yanıma arkadaş
I
alıyorum.
hire people to become friends with me.
Benim arkadaşlarım
My
beraber
friends
çalıştığım
are
arkadaşlar.
my colleagues, are the people that I work with.
Benim de bir rolüm var.
I
Çalışanın da
have
bir
a
rolü
role
var.
and they do have a role too. Doesn't matter what that role is. What would make me worry
Sayı çok olduğu
is
için
that now as we have grown a lot, we
Herkes de
have
oturup
grown
yemek
in number.
yiyemiyorum.
Now I'm not able to have dinner with all my colleagues or
ama
friends.
yine de
But
büyük grup
still, I try my best to be together with people in such,
ben 15
huge
bin kişiyle
numbers.
çalışıyorum.
Now I'm working with 15,000 people in my
Yemeklerim
group.
sadece
But now instead of having dinners with 15, 20 people at the same time, now I could have dinners with 500 people at the same time.
I think I've been to one of those.
Bulundum.
teknoloji gelişti artık.
Technology has
konuşamıyorum.
improved. We can talk to each other all the
Heyecanımızı ve
time.
ruh lazım.
We need to share that excitement and our spirit with everyone
Okay.
working with
Bu
us.
CEO
Be it
en
my
alt
CEO
kesimdeki
or a
hizmet
person
veren
at
bir
the very
kişi de
low
olsa,
level, they should have the same
The same
excitement.
excitement.
They should feel the same
vücudundaki
excitement and
herhangi bir
spirit.
damarın düşünebilir
For
misin?
example, think of all the veins that you have in your body. Would you think that a very small one is not useless?
Right.
Hepsi
right.
değerlidir.
All
hepsi
of them
önemlidir.
are valuable and all of them are important.
Right. So what about the idea of people who are listening putting together their
Şu
own
an
table?
yine bir
Because listening to
yemek
everyone is
verecek.
important. So for example, one thing I've learned directly from Mr.
Mesela
Yucel is to
bildiğim bir
do
şey.
this. So I often
Bunları yapmak,
invite
böyle
many
şeyler
people
yapmak.
over,
Mesela
people I may
elimden
disagree with,
geldiğin
that say
bir
voted
sürü
with
insanı
for Trump.
çağırıyorum.
I still
Ve
say
hatta
come on over.
aynı fikri taşımadığım kişileri çağırıyorum. Mesela Trump'a oy verenleri de çağırabiliyorum.
Just to understand their perspective.
Sadece onların perspektifini, bakış açısını anlayabilmek için.
Is that something that you encourage? Because I
Bu
feel like
sizin
that is
önem verdiğiniz
part
ve
of your
insanların
book of
yapmasını
success.
isteyeceğiniz bir şey mi? Çünkü buna
kere-
borçlusunuz. First of all, of course, when I'm
Hem
giving a dinner,
arkadaşlarımın
I see my friends.
hem de o
And
gündemi
also,
oluyor.
We have an agenda for that dinner. I mean, there is a kind of agenda
Okay.
for the
Ve
dinner.
o yemek,
Or
sohbet
whatever
olacaksa
the topic of the conversation would be for that dinner,
aynı
I try
insanları bir araya
to bring
getiriyorum.
together people who would have different perspectives for that topic.
On it.
For
Bilenleri bir araya
example,
getirmiyorum.
I don't bring together only the people who would think the same way that I would think, because I
Biliyorum.
already know what I'm thinking. So if I have a variety of ideas,
Belki
the
içinden bir şey
ones
çıkabilir.
that have different ideas should talk, so that maybe I can have something, a few ideas.
Sure.
Ve bu bir
Sure.
danışmanlıkta olmuyor.
And this doesn't cost me any consultancy fee.
Sadece bir yemek oluyor.
It's only a dinner.
LA dinner, yeah. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Çok harika
Yeah,
bir fikir.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. You came from humble beginnings. I've gone to your village in the Black Sea.
Sizdim gördüm.
And now here you are. One of your many schools is one block from
Pek çok
the most
kurumunuz
powerful
var.
address in the
Birisi
world.
de
When you look back,
Size
what are the
baktığınızda
top 2 or 3 lessons that you've pulled about
En
becoming just a better
önemli-
person?
Toplumcu olmak.
One, being communal, so loving and having the drive in you to be useful, to be helpful to people.
Ben vermekten keyif ve zevk alıyorum.
I enjoy giving.
Diye de
That
beyin
makes
gıdamı
me happy,
gerçekleştiriyorum.
and that in a way, feeds my brain.
Şimdi ben Afrika ile ilgileniyorum.
For example, I'm really very much interested in Africa now.
Yes.
İstanbul'da.
I have students almost from every country in Africa that study in my university in
Ben onları
Istanbul.
kendimden ayrı görmüyorum.
And I don't see them any different from myself. It was not in my hands to be born in Turkey. So, the land that you are born in shouldn't become your destiny. But wherever you are born, it cannot be one of your positive qualities, the place that you are born.
Ben her yerde doğabilirdim.
I could have born in anywhere.
O
Right.
zaman
So that
herkesin
means everyone, I would like and I would want everyone
Ben
to live in
insanım.
better conditions.
Ben
I'm a
insanım.
human being.
Dolayısıyla yararlı olmam lazım.
I need to be
Faydalı olmam
useful
lazım.
to
Right.
the other people.
Benim
I need to be
tutkum bunlar.
helpful to the other people. This is my passion.
Okay. This is interesting. So loving,
İlginç. Yani
caring,
sevmek,
giving,
önem
these are the
vermek.
3.
You will love people
İş yapacaksın
and you will do things, produce, create.
ve şimdi yeni
And
moda
you will
kelimeler
share.
sürdürülebilir bir
And now the
dünya
fashion,
olacaksın.
word is you will be doing all of these for a more sustainable world.
right.
Yeah. You look at certain
Zengin
countries
oluyor.
or people that they are wealthy. Okay, congratulations.
Neyi yok
But
ederek zengin oldun?
how did you become wealthy, rich? By taking what from other people?
Acaba
By
çocuklarımız,
destroying
torunlarımıza
what?
kalacak olan
Did you
herhangi bir
become
dünyanın bir
rich
şeyini de mi tükettin?
because you destroyed maybe the future of our children?
Yoksa zengin olabilirsin.
Yeah, you can become rich.
Ama neyi kullanarak oldun?
But you become rich by using what?
Right.
That's important.
Artık
Now the
Üretip
world that
çok
we live
tüketme
in,
gayreti içinde olmayacağız.
we shouldn't be in the, we shouldn't be putting a lot of effort to produce a lot so that we can consume a lot.
Right.
We will produce as much
Ürettiğimizi
as
de sonuna
we
kadar
need to
kullanacağız.
produce or create, and we will be using those that we produced
Yani
or
Paul
created.
Brunson çocuğuna kalacak.
So Paul Brunson shouldn't be stealing
Torununun
from the
kalacak şey
future of
çalmamalı.
his children or his grandchildren.
That's true. That's true. And for the record,
Doğru
this is not leather.
söylediniz.
This is vegan leather, so I'm not
Bu
stealing from the
arada
lands.
bu
By the way.
gerçek deri değil, bu vegan derisi yani gelecekten çalmıyorum bu giydiğim.
No, but I completely agree.
Ama
I completely
tamamen
agree.
katılıyorum size.
Another question,
Bir başka soru da.
somewhat on the same topic.
Aynı
Over the
konuda.
last few years here in the
Son
United
birkaç
States,
yıldır burada Amerika'da
I've interviewed more billionaires than any other journalist
diğer
here.
gazetecilere kıyasla çok daha fazla sayıda milyarderlerle
And as I sat across from them and listened to their story, I realized that all
Ve
of
şunu
you
fark
all
ettim.
have at least one skill in common,
Tabii.
and that's the ability to sell
Ve bu
your
da-
vision. You know, you guys are very charismatic,
Evet.
all good looking,
hepiniz iyi görünüyor. Hani
and I've seen, literally heard people describe you that way. They'll say,
Tanımlarken
Enver
bunu
Yucel
gördüm.
looks
Yücel,
kind of like
hani
a boxer, and a French
boksöre
actor
benzer ve
together.
bir Fransız aktöre benziyor. Hani ikisi bir arada sizi.
But so it feels like it's almost a character because
Yani sanki bu sizin bir
everyone I've
karakteriniz,
met
bir
is
karakteristik
charismatic, they
özelliği
can
gibi.
sell, they're good
Karşılaştığım
looking.
herkes karizmatik, işte yakışıklı, iyi
So
görünüyor.
my question is, how much of
Yani
that
benim sorum
is methodical? How much of that do you think about?
Yiyeceklerde organik
generally what do you prefer to eat? Organic, you know,
Yes, organic.
and what do you like in people?
onun
Could you
için
consider me as an organic person?
duruşum,
Evet.
hareketim,
That's why I mean the way that I behave,
bir şey olmak için
the way that I
Değilim.
stand. I'm not doing this because I want to be something.
Right.
ben
I want to-
samimiyim.
I'm sincere.
Ben neysem oyum.
I am who I am. Otherwise, you know, you cannot become that.
Sen bende
someone if you are not
orijinallik,
that.
natural bir hayat görmesen
If you don't
zaten biz
see
beraber
anything
olamazdık.
natural in me, if you don't see anything, you know, organic or anything sincere in me, then we cannot be together. We cannot work together. You can
Bir
do
iş
certain
başında,
things
görev
so
başında.
that, you know, people could understand you in a better way.
Ama
At the beginning of your
etkilemen
job.
için
But in order to influence people,
samimi olman
you
lazım.
need to be sincere.
Organik olman
You need to
lazım.
be organic.
Yapalım diye bir
You
hareket
cannot
içerisinde
say let me look more
olamam, o zaman
charismatic
kaybederim.
now and let me, you know, do or stand this way. I cannot be in an effort like that. If I
Paul Brunson,
show an
sen-
extra effort to be like that, then I will lose.
Sen
Paul
bir
Brunson.
televizyon programı yapıyorsun.
You do TV shows.
Sen samimisin.
You are sincere.
Sen içinden geliyor ruh ve
Whatever
heyecan.
you say, I mean, the way that you behave, act, it comes from within you.
Belki daha iyi anlatabilmek için bazı hareketler yapıyorsun.
Maybe you are using extra gestures to be able to explain yourself
Yes,
better.
yes.
But that's it. I mean, the training that you
Yaptığın
had,
hareketler
the acts,
sende
your
var olan
acts, your training could only take out what you already
have. Okay. Yeah. I agree
in
with this.
you.
So for the listener, it seems like what they need to do is
O
they
zaman
need to
dinleyicilere
own who they
vereceğimiz
are,
ders kim
quirks, what makes
ise
them
o
different,
olmalılar.
not
Yani
hide those
onları
things. They need to
farklı
display them proudly.
farklamamalılar. They
vücudunu
shouldn't
yapılarını
be,
değiştirmesinler.
acting, trying to, get new behaviors, movements or whatever,
But-
just
Yani
in
kendisini
an effort to look like
Kend-
someone else. For
kendine
example, they
hevesi
shouldn't
içinde
be in the
olmasınlar.
effort of making themselves more similar to Paul Brunson, how he acts.
ama şeklen diyorum.
But I'm of course talking about in shape.
Neyse
That
o
I mean.
olsunlar.
I mean, whoever they are, they should become that. They
Esas
should be
güzellik
displaying
de
that.
odur.
And
Okay.
that is the real
Samimiyet odur.
beauty of them. And that is the real sincerity.
Herkes iyidir, herkes güzeldir.
Every person is good. Every person is beautiful.
Ama insan
People, of course, should take models from each other. They
Okay.
can have models.
Fair. All right. I want to get to some fun questions before we open it up for the
Soru
audience to
sormak
ask questions.
istiyorum.
All right. So a lot of people don't have an
İnsan-
opportunity to befriend someone of your status.
Sizin statü.
So a big question on their
şu.
minds is, what are some odd things that you do?
Yaptığınız
We all have odd
saçma şeyler ne
habits,
olabilir? Hani hepimizin
quirks.
çok garip
For
saçma
example, for
alışkanlıkları
me,
olabiliyor. Mesela benim için
this is very odd. I've never
bu
said
çok
this.
garip. Bunu daha önce hiç söylememişti.
When I get out of the bed, I must get out on the right side.
Mutlaka sağ taraftan
Even if
kalkmam
I'm on the left
gerekir.
side, I
Yani
roll over my
sol
wife
tarafta bile
to get
olsam
up
karımın
off
üstünden
out of the
atlıyorum
right side of
ve
the bed.
yatağın sağ tarafından kalkıyorum.
It's terrible.
Hani
What is something that you
sizinle
do
de
that people
sizin
may
yaptığınız
find?
insanların böyle hani
unusual?
değişik garip.
yok.
I don't know. I don't have anything odd. Just when I leave the house, I try to leave the house, as much happy as I am. I try to be happy when I'm leaving the house.
Yeah.
Hep
I always expect my wife to say goodbye to me with a happy smile on her face.
o zaman mutluyum.
Then I'm happy.
Wow. So morning routines is something
Yani
that I've also
sabah
noticed is very
rutinleri
popular
benim
with
de
the
çok
successful
bu
people.
başarılı insan bulduğum
What is your morning
özellikleri var.
routine?
Sizin sabah rutininiz nedir? Sports,
Yürüyüş.
I walk,
Kahvaltı.
and then breakfast,
Bir de eve heyecan getiririm.
and I bring joy, excitement to the house.
No work in the
Hiç
morning.
iş yok mu sabahları?
No.
No work in the morning.
Yani sabah yok derken.
Between
Şimdi.
8 to 10, I don't work.
You don't work.
Şimdi.
Now,
Ama
at this
senin-
age, but
senin
when I
yaşında
was
altıdan
around
itibaren
your
iş
age,
vardı.
I would start work at 6.
Yes, and work all day.
Yes.
And sleep in the business.
Ve-
I remember. Okay, so let's talk about just sport real quick, because health is
Çok
something
hızlı
that as
bir
I
şey
get
soracağım
older,
çünkü
I
sağlık
realize is paramount.
da-
When you were, growing up in the journey, right, building
bu
the business,
seyahatinizde, bu işinizi kurarken
were you focused on physical health and mental health, or none whatsoever?
fiziksel sağlığınıza ve zihin sağlığınıza düşünmediniz
Tabii ki
mi?
düşündüm, çok
Of
düşündüm.
course I did. I gave a lot of thought on
Çünkü-
both because all the zeros that come after one are
Olmayınca-
useful. But if you don't have that one,
Hepsi sıfırdır.
and then all those zeros, it's zero.
O bir de sağlık.
And that one is health.
Sağlığına bakmayan
If you are not
İnsan zaten bir
healthy,
şey
if
olamaz.
you don't give importance to your health, then you cannot become anything.
This is fair. All right, so mentorship is something that a lot of people talk about today.
Çok
I consider
konuştuğu
you
bir
one of my
konu.
mentors.
Sizi de ben kendi mentorlarımdan biri olarak görüyorum.
Did you have a mentor
Sizin bir
as you were building the
mentorunuz
business,
oldu
and
mu
how
bu
important is
işinizi
mentorship
kurarken?
to
Sizce
building a
bu-
business?
I didn't have a mentor,
yap.
but when
Daha iyi
I
yap
tried to, become friends with the people who had become successful in what they were doing, and they were doing similar jobs, similar businesses as me.
Okay.
So I learned from them, but I didn't have a
insanların-
mentor.
İnsanların
But I believe that people should have one or two, a few mentors in their life,
güvendiği insanlar olmalı.
and people that they would trust.
En azından bir karar verirken onların da
At
fikrini
least,
almalı.
if when giving an important decision, they should take their brains.
Ben çok dinlerim.
I listen to other people a lot,
Çok sorarım.
and I ask a lot of
A lot of
questions.
questions, right?
Ben de ona
And
göre
then I
karar
try
alır
to bring
veririm.
all of them together, and then I give a decision. And the expectations of this world today, they are different now.
Yes.
Eğer zengin olmak istiyorsan
And if you want to become rich,
sosyal sorumluluk projesi
then you should
hayatımızın bir
definitely be
parçası olmalı.
involved in. You should definitely make, social responsibility projects as part of your life now.
Ve
That's a definite. People should definitely show extra effort to reach out to disadvantaged population, especially the children in the disadvantaged populations. People should love themselves. The listeners should love themselves, but they should also love the world that they live in.
But this is interesting because
Ama bu çok
I think when
ilginç
most people think
çünkü
about business
çoğu
for
insan iş
marginalized
yapmayı
people,
olmuş kişiler
disadvantaged
için,
children,
dezavantajlı çocuklar.
you don't necessarily think that there's opportunity to generate, business, revenue,
Buradan bir
big
iş,
sales.
para da getirebilecek bir iş yapılabileceğini de çok düşünmüyorlar insanlar.
So when you mention if you want to be rich, you should be involved with projects that touch around social responsibility. Explain that one.
kariyer hayatında yükseliyorsun.
Now you are rising in your career life.
Yüksel bir yere geldiğin
This
zaman
rising trend will continue, and then when you come up to a certain level, then you will see that there have been many things that you have not done. And then at that point, you wouldn't have a lot of time left for you to focus on those things that you
mümkün
hadn't
olduğu
done
kadar
before.
ikisini birlikte
So
yap.
you should try to do both things at the same time as much as you can.
Daha çok.
That way you will see that you will earn more, you will
Ve
make more
ayakların
money,
daha
but at the
yere
same
sağlam
time
basacak.
you will have a more, a stronger stand, and you will become a better person.
Tabii ben genelde 40 yaş ve o altındaki insanlara
Generally, I
Mutlu
see
ilgili.
people, and I like seeing that, people generally at the age of 40 or below 40, they like being involved in social responsibility activities more.
Yes. Yeah. All right. This is good.
Güzel
So
oldu bu da.
let's open up to some questions.
Dışarıdan sorular
This is
alalım
really good. This
bakalım.
was, by the way, You're very popular
Bu arada
in our
çok
community.
popülersiniz
A
bizim
lot of people had some a lot of questions. It was hard to
topluluğumuzda.
figure out
Çok
which
fazla
ones.
soru geldi.
But I think
Biraz
you'll enjoy these.
seçmek
Yeah.
zor olacak ama bakalım, umarım hoşunuza gider.
Hi Paul, my name's Dan, I'm from London, and my question is essentially, how do you find your business tribe, so a group of people you can bounce ideas off and have productive discourse?
All right. So yeah, that was from Darren from
Bu
the UK.
Darren, İngiltere'den birisi.
Farklılıklar varsa onu bir araya getirmeye
I
çalışıyorum.
try to bring together as many varieties as possible together. For example, the business that I want to do, related with that business, I'm trying to think of all the different perspectives or all the different things that people could have, and I try to find those people and bring them together.
Who have a different.
İngiltere'deki dostlarımdan
I'm
tam
doing
ve
business
titizlikle
in the
yapılmasını,
UK as
detaylı
well,
yapılmasını
and I'm
onlardan görüyorum.
learning something from my colleagues in England, being meticulous in what you are doing, paying
Yes.
attention to details.
Yes.
This is something that I'm learning from
Tabii
my
son yıllarda olanaklarım
British
olduğu için
colleagues.
dediniz ya az önce yalnız yemek yemiyorsun diye.
So what I'm also trying to do recently, as you know, the more opportunities I have in time, this is something that I can do. You said that, you know, in my dinners, I'm trying to bring different cultures together during such dinners as well.
Yes.
For example, I tried to do a business in England
Başarılı olamadım.
a couple of years ago, but I was not successful. The only reason was
Kültürdü.
cultural
Ama
difference.
sonradan İngilizlerle
But then,
ortaklık yaptım.
I became partners with some British
Nasıl iş
people.
yapıldığı
And
mantalitesini
I
anladım.
learned about, you know, the culture, the way that they see business, their perspectives.
Yes.
I learned those.
Şimdi bir işe başladım
And
ve
now we've
İngiltere'de
started
üniversite.
a business, and we've acquired a university. I became one of the partners of a university in
İşte
England.
iş yaparken
When you are doing business, culture is a very important
o
component of
kültüre
it.
sahip değilsen iş
If you don't have
yapamıyorsun.
that or if you don't understand that culture, then you cannot do the
Yeah.
business
This is
there.
that's a major point.
Bu çok
All right. I loved it. Loved it.
hoşuma gitti.
All right. Let's go to the next question.
Hi, my name is Jai Flowers from Los Angeles. Before earning billions, what advice would you give yourself when you were only making thousands? If it's true that the results of our life are due to our thoughts, emotions, and efforts, how would your current self mentor your past self to make this change of focus? Thank you.
Benim tabii ki çok güzel bir soru.
I mean, this is a very good question.
It's great. It's great. And he's from LA, by the way,
Bu da
too.
Los Angeles'tan
From Los
bunu
Angeles.
söyledi.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Sorry. Los Angeles'tan bir katılımcı
eğitim-
sormuş. Education starts in the family. The most important component of my education life is my family. I still remember what my mom and dad used to tell me when I was a
Şimdi
kid.
ikisi de hayatta değil.
And now both of them passed away. Sometimes when I'm still doing certain things, I still think of their words, you know, what they
Hangi
would tell me.
koşulda
No matter
yanlış yapmayacağım,
under what condition I am in, I say that I will never do wrong.
kimseyi
I will
kandırmayacağım,
never deceive anyone.
kimsenin de beni kandırmasına
And I
razı
will never
gelmeyeceğim.
let anyone to deceive me. I'll be true, honest, and I'll be always right,
Başarırım
clean.
ama
Maybe I can be successful at a later stage.
böyle çalışırsam
But if you work
başaracağımı
this way,
biliyorum.
then I know that I will become successful. Of course, I didn't start my business with a capital in my hands. When I was, you know, a kid, we didn't have even a nice path, a nice road to walk, going to the elementary school and secondary school.
Elektrik yoktu.
We didn't have any electricity in our house until we started the middle school. So I grew up in such conditions, and now I came to where I am now. I mean, I didn't direct myself to some wrong paths in those days. Consider now, I even pay more attention now to be always in the right path.
right path.
So that's why when talking to Enver at that age, today.
Geldiğin-
So what I'm telling to that Enver
Yeah.
now that considering all the conditions you lived, you know, under
Right.
those years,
Right.
you did not divert yourself to other wrong ways, paths. You have always done what you thought was the right way, and I'm glad that you did it this way, because this is now where we are and successful. So always now give the same advice to the young people around you to act in the similar way that you are acting now.
Right, right.
Yalnız
This is what I
başıma,
would tell to Enver.
yalnız başıma büyümek o beni mutlu etmiyor.
Growing by myself or growing only as Enver does not make me happy. We need to
yükselmeliyiz.
grow together with the other people,
Belki
with
ben
me
güzel bir
around
elma
me.
alırken
When I pick a very nice looking apple, for example, then another one also next to me should be able to pick a good looking, a fine apple too.
Yes, yes. No. And that, by the way, I highly admire that about you. Family, not only the family environment,
Yani aile derken sadece hani kendi aile ortamınız değil.
but the engagement, with your
Ama herkes,
daughter, with
evet,
Begum, with Hussein, with your son,
kızınızla, oğlunuzla
with your wife. I mean, that's it's
eşiniz.
admirable. Excellent. We have two more questions.
Hey, thanks for letting me ask this question. My name's Brian. I'm in San Diego, California, and I've got a question about kind of the mentality behind wealth. So I know that a lot of people, when they acquire wealth, that the money starts to lose value a little bit because it's no longer the asset that everyone's seeking. So I'm curious to hear your philosophy on what is your definition of success and how does wealth integrate into that definition? Thanks so much.
Bu da yine Kaliforniya'dan, San Diego'dan bir soru Brian.
az önce konuşmalarımda bununla ilgili bir şeyler söylemeye
I think
çalıştım.
I tried to say a few things during our chat about this topic. Maybe the measurement that we use for wealth has changed today. And there have been a lot of changes in listing the countries in terms of their wealth, and that measurement has changed too. So an advanced and wealthy country doesn't mean only the per capita income,
Yaşanabilir bir dünya
but
mıdır,
it
ülke
means
midir?
whether that country is a sustainable country, is a country where people could live in healthy conditions, and
Adalet.
the rule of law,
Yes.
the condition of the legal system or the rule of law,
Bireyde de
and
öyledir.
fair conditions to everyone. So this is the same for individuals as well.
Ki
So
dolar
the money that you have in a bank, the cash that you have, that means in terms of measurement, in terms of money, yes, it makes you rich. But is your soul rich as well? When you look back, what that money has contributed to you for your growth?
sosyal sorumluluk projesi olarak bir şey yapmışlar mı?
Have you contributed or have you given back to the society by being involved in many social responsibility
Ben
projects, for
Amerika'ya
example?
ilk San Diego'ya geldim.
The first time that I came to the States years ago, it was to San Diego. So this question that comes from San Diego, I would share with my friend now in San Diego that
Belki
maybe, this may not earn him a lot of, financial results, but if he goes to Mexico just across the border, if he
San
holds the
Diego'nun güzel
hand
havasını göster.
of a small kid across the border and then, show him that beautiful environment in San Diego, even that is something that he can learn a lot. And he
Right.
can enjoy doing a lot.
Right.
Yani değil de
So it's not
olmaz.
wealth
Sosyal sorumluluk
is not
projeleri yapması
measured
lazım.
by
İnsanlara
money
yararlı,
only.
faydalı işler yapması
Wealth
lazım.
should be measured other things as well, like helping people, reaching out to people, being involved to social responsibility
O San
activities.
Diego'da tanır.
I'm curious about this because you talked about how he can just go over the border and hold a hand, and this is something that I've noticed that you've done, especially in the time that we worked together,
Özellikle
where
hep,
you would
yaptığınızı gördüğüm bir şey
leave
bu.
Turkey
Kiev'den
and come to the
çıkarken
United
ve
States
Amerika'ya
or to
gelirken
Germany or
geldiğinizde
to
Almanya'ya
Canada.
gittiğinizde ya da Kanada'ya gittiğinizde
I've noticed that I've had
Şuna
more
dikkat
professional
ettim.
success by leaving the United States, going to Turkey, going to the UK, going to
Amerika'yı
Jamaica.
bırakıp-
And this speaks to something you said earlier about
ve bu daha
understanding
önce
culture.
söylediğiniz bir şeyi de hatırlatıyor bana, kültürü anlamak.
But is this something that you would advocate people to do that are just starting their businesses? Should they remove themselves from their current city, go to a different city, different country?
Tabii ki.
Of course they should. They should go and see other places. I can say that I've learned a lot by just visiting around the world. I learned what poverty means by visiting around the world.
Zenginliği de gördüm.
And I saw wealth by visiting around the world.
Onun için görmeliyiz.
So that's why, first of all, we need to see.
Bak dünya küçük bir köy haline
I mean, the
geldi.
world has become like a global village, a small village, but we made this world small.
Teknolojiyle,
We
internet,
developed
teknoloji.
technology, internet, building bridges, etc. We made the world a small one, a small village. But
Barış içinde yine
we
yaşayamıyoruz.
still cannot live in peace.
Why?
Why? For example, America is the superpower country in the world. Maybe one of the most important countries that contributed for the globe to become a small village because of the technology that it, produced.
Right.
Ama şimdi o Amerika'ya
But now
bakıyorsun.
that America, the same America, they are trying to establish walls
Yeah.
to her border. So then why did you make the world a small one?
That's a long conversation.
Bu çok uzun bir sohbet olur.
But no, I agree. I completely
Ama
agree.
katılıyorum, tamamen
agree.
Şimdi
katılıyorum. For example,
göç-
now there's a huge problem of refugees in the world.
Yes.
In the world today, 6 to 8.5 million people
Dünyada.
had to leave their home countries.
Right.
Mesela ben herkesi
But I would love, like everyone in the world, to come and see all those refugee people in my country, all those little newborn babies, little kids, or the pregnant women, and unfortunately, the conditions they live in, and also how they die. 4 million Syrian people have come to our border, to the Turkish border.
Yes.
We couldn't have said no to them, and we couldn't have just closed our border to them.
hepsini aldık.
They escaped from war and they came to our border, so we opened our borders and we accepted those 4 million people in our country.
Right.
Ama
But
sınırları kaldıran Avrupa Birliği
the European Union that got rid of all their borders within themselves,
aman bize gelmesin diye sınırları
they were
kapattılar.
afraid of having refugees and they closed all the borders of the
immediately.
EU and they started to establish walls.
Yep.
So such acts does not look good for advanced countries, so-called advanced countries or wealthy countries like them.
Sure.
Ya sınırdan biz de almayacağız.
So we wouldn't, what would happen if we didn't also accept
Ve orada
those
kaç milyon insan ölecek.
people? So all of them would be killed.
Right.
Ve bütün dünyanın gözü
And the
önünde.
whole, in the eyes of the whole world.
Buna zengin dünya
Would you
diyemeyiz.
call this a wealthy world?
Right. Yeah.
Wealthy country?
Yeah, absolutely not. The rise of nationalism, really, the
Milliyetçiliğin
erecting of the word
yükselişi de
nationalism,
maalesef
is spreading all over the
tüm
world.
dünyada yayılıyor.
It's one of these where it's incredibly unfortunate because you're right. I remember there's a gentleman, Thomas Friedman. I think you know Thomas Friedman.
biliyorsunuz.
Yeah. He coined the phrase "the world is flat."
Biliyorsun,
I think
söylemini
met his
üreten
wife through
kişi.
you. I think.
Aslında galiba onun karısıyla ben
Maybe.
sizin sayenizde tanışmıştım galiba.
Yeah, I was at a
Öyle
party.
bir şey
Maybe
hatırlıyorum.
I think
Bir
on your
partiye
behalf, but I met his
gitmiştik ya da
wife.
sizin
I remember
onurunuza
walking her to her
verilen bir
car.
partiydi.
And so he coined that the world is flat. But
Dünya
I've never seen it
düzdür
more divided in my lifetime than
sözünü
today.
üreterek aslında hani bugün bu yaşadığımız şeyleri özetliyordu.
Yeah. All right. So we have one last question.
Son bir sorumuz var.
My name is Sakina. I'm from Austin, Texas, and my question is, how did you find your personal calling? And also, how do you navigate the road between personal fulfillment and a lucrative career?
Benim yaptığım iş belli.
What I'm doing is obvious.
Bunu
Initially,
anlayamadım.
when I started my career, I didn't know the real value of what I was doing.
Ama benim bir yapım ve karakterim var.
But I have a nature and I have a character.
Yaptığım işle bu çok örtüştü.
And this business actually matched my nature and my character very well.
Ve bir baktım ki en
And then-
etkili yol
at some point I realized that
insanlara en
way that I could be really useful to people would be through education, through what I was doing. So then that turned out to be my passion. That became my passion.
dünyaya sesleniyorum.
Now I'm using a slogan. I have a motto now.
İyi
Every
eğitim almaya
child
hakkına
in the
sahiptir.
world has the right to have a good education. I want every child in this world, every single child, to get a high quality, good education. So
Güney
that's
Afrika'ya
why
kadar.
from Mongolia to South Africa,
Dan,
from Japan to
Avrupa'ya kadar
Europe,
gitmek
wherever
istiyorum.
I go, the first thing that I'm trying to do is to touch the disadvantaged children first. To
İnsanlar
serve for
olarak
them first. So we as people should both
yaşamamız için
develop the world,
Bilmemiz
but also
lazım.
should live in peace, and education is the only tool for us to do this.
Hem-
So both my mind and heart, they speak the same.
The same. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I think she'll enjoy that answer.
Bence bu cevap onun çok hoşuna
Yeah.
gidecek.
You know, so I have one final question.
Bir son sorum var
This is a
benim
personal
size. Bu
question.
bir soru.
But listening to you today,
Ama
I
bugün
think
sizi
I already know
dinlerken-
what I need to do, but I want to just hear it
Zaten-
again. I have so many ideas.
O kadar çok ki.
So many things that
Bir
I
sürü
enjoy
şey
doing.
geliyor, aklım
There's a
çok şey
joke
var.
that Jamaicans always have 10 jobs. I have
Jamaikan'ın
about 20
hep
jobs
10
right
işi
now.
vardır
I'm
diye.
super Jamaican.
Galiba ben süper Jamaikalıyım çünkü sanki 20 işim var aynı zamanda.
So my question is more so,
Yani-
do I continue to go wide and experiment with
Açılmaya
different
devam mı edeyim,
things,
farklı şeyleri
television,
denemeye
right,
devam mı
writing,
edeyim, mesela
etc.
televizyon ya da
Or
markacılık,
am I at a point
yoksa
in my career
bir
where you
noktadan
suggest I
sonra
start to
sizin
narrow?
dediğiniz kariyerim
So which one?
bir
Go wide
yerinde.
or
Diyeyim,
narrow in?
yok.
şey
So the
söylüyorum.
most important advice to you now is that
Seni yormayacak.
you should never detach yourself from the business, the thing that does not exhaust you, tire you, but on the contrary, that gives you joy in doing.
İş yap-
Don't select a path, never.
İş-
Just to do a business.
İş hayat
Actually, business is a game in our lives. You should
Oyna.
learn or you should play the game that you like a lot.
hem yorulmazsın
That way, if you do so, you will not get tired.
Tamam.
But if there is something that you have to do, then don't let it make you sorry. Don't let it make you unhappy. Do not ever kill that child in you.
hem mutlu olacaksın
That way, you will become happy
hem başarılı
and
olacaksın.
successful.
Benim de dünyamda çok iş var.
I have many things in my life too.
Ama
So many
öncelikli
different things in
sıralara
my
koyuyorum.
life, but I prioritize them.
Hoşuma giden ve benim tutkum oluyor.
And the ones that I like doing the most, they become my passion.
Diyeceğim.
For example, I'll visit Cuba soon because the children in Cuba also have
Kübalı'nın da
some
iyi yaşama
problems.
hakkı
They
var.
also have the right to live in good conditions.
Bunda
So
ben
amongst all these
bundan
other
keyif
things that
alıyorum.
I need to do, I enjoy going there, seeing that part of the world and seeing what I can do there. In South Africa,
Yes.
Biz matematik
in the past, there was, a group of people who were not taught mathematics,
Yes.
or they didn't teach, the
biz onlara
mathematics.
şimdi oyunla matematik
Now,
öğretiyoruz.
We designed a program, a curriculum to teach them mathematics through games.
That's interesting. There's a part of the population that specifically we're
Nüfusun
not
bir
taught
kısmına
math.
matematik mi öğretmemişler? Bu
In-
çok
Yes.
ilginç.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, black people.
Yes, black people.
All black, but all throughout all of
Bütün
South Africa.
zencilere mi
Why? I'm curious.
öğretmemişler?
Why was it mathematics?
Niye matematiği
It just-
seçmişler öğretmemek için?
Okay. Wow. I did not know that. So don't kill the inner child.
No.
Okay.
Don't kill the inner child.
All right. Done.
Tamam.
Well, then I see you're super Jamaican because you said you have a lot
Sizi
of.
de çok süper Jamaikalı gibi görüyorum. Sizin de
That-
çok
that- yes,
işiniz
yes,
var
yes.
yaptığınız.
But
Jamaikalıları çok
And
seviyorum.
I love Jamaicans very much.
yeah, Jamaicans love you as well.
Jamaikalılar da sizi seviyor.
Well, Mr. Yucel
Es.
Enver Yucel
and Sinem.
ve Sinem.
Thank-
Thank you for
thank-
remembering
thank-
me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been
Teşekkürler.
outstanding.
Thank you.
Bu
Thank
çok
I want to
inanılmaz
thank
oldu.
you for the impact on my life. I truly
Hayatıma
believe
kattığınız bütün etki
there's
için,
certain
yalnız
people
bütün
that
etki
enter your
için
life to shake you up. You shook me. And as a result, I'm a better person. So thank
Ve
you.
bunun sonucu olarak da şu an çok
Paul,
daha iyi bir insanım.
ben de bir şey
Let
söylüyorum.
me say something. When I knew you, when I got to know you, you were so young.
ve çok varlıklı bir ailenin
And
çocuğuydun.
you were, a member of a wealthy family. You were the son of a wealthy father.
Yes.
Ve parayı seçmedin.
But you did not choose select money. This is really important. And secondly, I always appreciate you, seeing you that you are doing things that you are doing with full passion.
Ben binlerce interview yaptım.
I had thousands of interviews in my life. If you ask me now, who asked you the best questions, you are in top 3.
Oh,
in the
wow.
first
Birde
3.
misin, ikide mi, üçte mi bilemiyorum ama
I
ilk
don't know
üçtesin.
whether you ranked the first, second or third. I don't know that exactly, but you rank in the first
Mükemmel
3.
bir sohbet yaptık.
We've had a great conversation today.
Hiç
You ask me questions that would take everything in me out. And I'll never forget of this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would we need an expert?
Ben Enver Yucel.
My name is Enver Yucel. I'm from Turkey.
Black Sea.
From the Black Sea
bir
coast,
köyde
Black Sea
doğdum.
region coast of Turkey. I was born in a small village on the Black Sea coast of Turkey.
Dünyanın fındığının %85 üretilen yeri.
And my hometown produces the 75% of the hazelnuts in the world.
Liseyi bitirirken son sınıfta kaldım.
When I was a senior high school student, I failed my classes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Ben bilmiyordum bunu.
Bir
And I started a test preparation center. I started to go a test preparation center to get prepared for the university entrance
18
exam
yaşındaydım.
and to pass my failing grades. I was at the age of 18 then. The test prep center that I was attending had only 2 classrooms. And a year later, I became a partner with a mathematics teacher, and we bought that place. And since that day, I'm in the business of education. We served almost 100,000 students at the same time.
Amerika'ya ilk geldiğim zaman burada da test
When I
center var mı
first
diye
came to
sana
the
sordum.
US in the early 2000s, I asked if there were any test preparation centers here or not. That's why we visited you then.
Yes.
Senin çalıştığın sen
So
arası
when
geldim.
visiting Kaplan,
Yes.
we
Yes.
met you.
Yes.
Sonra
And then, after the test preparation centers, I established a K through 12 school business from kindergarten to the high school in
yılında
1994. In
üniversite kurdum.
1998, I established my first university.
Sonra Washington DC'de bir üniversite
And then I
seninle
established
birlikte başladık.
a university in Washington, D.C. with you.
Şimdi o
You
üniversiteye
are
dönüştü.
a member of my board. We started doing our business in Washington, D.C. with you, but then, we made it into a university.
Berlin'de yine bir üniversite
Again,
kurdum.
I established a university in Berlin.
Georgia'da,
In Batumi, Georgia,
Batumi.
the country Georgia,
Kıbrıs
and Cyprus,
ve şimdi
and now
İngiltere.
England. Recently, England.
Kanada'da
I have an international boarding school in Canada.
gezim
I have an
var.
education center in Rome. So
Güzel
I have
üniversitelerim
educational
oldu.
centers, institutions, schools, or universities at various locations in the world.
Avrupa'nın en büyük eğitim grubuyum.
I'm the largest educational group in Europe
Ve
today,
200.000 öğrenciye hizmet veriyorum.
serving 200,000 students.
De
And
okuyor.
15% of this student population, they get full scholarship from me
Darıda.
because they are from, lower income
Ve
families.
şimdi yeni Birleşmiş Milletler'in İstanbul Başkanı oldu.
And
Eğitim
I
Araştırma Kültür Merkezi Başkanı.
recently was selected by the UN, by their division UNITAR. We established a section of UNITAR in Istanbul. I'm the chairman of it now. And I'm working for the children of the world.
Benim hayatım bu.
This is my life.
This is life. I'm sorry, I have to ask 2 questions then.
2 soru sormam gerekiyor o
When
zaman.
you were at the test prep center,
Bu dershanede
18, I think
işindeyken
you said.
18 yaşınızda
I think
dediniz.
you said, what, 2 years later you
Bir sene,
partnered
2 sene
and you bought
sonra
that test
bir
prep center.
matematik
How
öğretmeni-
did, how did you raise that money?
O
Where did you
parayı
get that
nasıl-
money
o
from
parayı
to buy it?
nereden
And
buldun?
roughly how much did it cost? if
Ne
anything?
kadara The founder of that test preparation center He wanted to leave the business
Çünkü
Okay.
because
değeri yoktu.
it didn't have any value as a business. It wasn't a successful business.
Esprisi yoktu.
I mean, he didn't make any money out of
Biz
that.
de
And I was a
matematik
student,
öğretmen
and
arkadaştık.
that math teacher was just a young graduate of
Okay.
the math
Bir para vermedik
department.
yani.
I mean, we didn't almost pay anything
Okay.
to the school.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Last question. I promise.
Söz veriyorum, son soru.
When we sit here and I interview you for
Burada
the
yine
follow-up,
otursak ve ben
interview.
size
what will your business look like then?
işiniz neye benziyor olacak o zaman?
Kimin?
Sizin.
Eğitimi daha büyütmüş, daha çok çocuğa dokunmuş bir insan olarak
I
görüşürüz.
guess, I would be doing, reaching out to more people, growing the business more, but touching more children in the world. I would have
Yoğunluğum olan bir insan olurum.
more problems. I would be busier. I would become a person like that, I guess, from 10 years from
Yani
today.
Enver aynı Enver
Nothing
olur.
would change. Enver would be the same Enver.
Just another zero and more
Yani bir
problems.
başka sıfır daha eklenecek o biri ama daha fazla problem.
sana
Yes.
sorayım.
So I'll ask you, what will you become when you become a more, celebrity at a much different
Benimle
level?
yine interview yapar mısın?
Would you interview me again?
Oh, one is, I don't like celebrity life. I don't. Can I tell a quick story too? Is
Bir hızlı bir
You
hikaye
know, I was in
anlatabilir
Bodrum.
miyim? Bodrum'daydım.
brought my family to Bodrum.
Ailemi Bodrum'a götürdüm.
We were in the hotel, and a family approached me
Bir aile geldi yanıma.
and then asked, not only could they take my picture,
Resmimi çekip
but they
çekemeyeceklerini
told me
sordular.
that yesterday, the day
Bir de
prior, when I was at the
dediler ki,
pool, they took a
bir gün
picture
önce
of me.
havuzdayken
And I wasn't
benim
in my
resmimi
good ab
çektiklerini
shape. I
söylediler.
didn't look right in my bathing suit.
Ve mayolu halimle o kadar da iyi görünmüyordum bilmiyorum ama resmimi çektim.
And I realized
Ve şunun
that
farkına
aspect I
vardım.
don't like. The notoriety I
Bu
don't
kısmı
like.
hiç sevmiyorum. Hoşuma gitmiyor.
I
bu.
like the
Ünlü olmanın
almost
bu
the power
kısmı.
that comes with the influence, but I don't like the attention.
Yani bu dikkat çekme kısmı
So I
hoşuma
don't
gitmiyor.
know if it's going to be
O
I don't know if I'll
yüzden
continue doing that.
Bu
I don't know.
bilmiyorum.
But I know I'll have more problems.
Ama benim de çok daha fazla sorunum olacağını biliyorum.
Hopefully another zero.
Umarım bir başka sıfır daha ekleyebilirim
Merak etme,
ben
sen
de.
emin
Don't
ellerdesin.
worry. You are in safe hand.
Tırmam.
I will never misguide you.
Yeah.
I will never let you go in a wrong direction.
Around it, yeah. Well, thank you. But thank you very much.
Teşekkür
Thank you.
ederim.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.